Welcome to Stargate SG1 for the first time. Still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm also watching Stargate SG1 for the first time, but this time I'm looking for messages because actually I've seen the show like 47 times. I'm looking for those messages that the show is trying to put out. Like that's what I'm focusing on as I'm watching the show. I've never done it this way before. It's been revealing so far.
Yeah.
Enlightening. Like Stargate's actually a fairly deep show. It's those messages that hold up a mirror to society that show us how we can be better people to each other, or maybe just give us hope that things are going to get better when, the future rolls around.
All right. Last week, when I heard this episode was going to be called Thor's Chariot, I immediately had some visions of what this was going to be.
Sure.
It's going to be a sequel to Thor's Hammer. And
Yes.
because Symmeria, this is my prediction, Symmeria no longer has Thor's hammer because Daniel had to destroy it to save Teal'c. The Goa'uld figured that out, and they're coming in hot and heavy. SG1's going to be coming in, I don't know, maybe checking in on them or something. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, there's Goa'uld everywhere, and they're blowing up the Sumerians. They're going to be in a moment where they can't get back to the Stargate, and so they're going to help the Sumerians escape by building them a ship, essentially seeding the planet to the Goa'uld so they can go off and live. And SG1 will squeak out through the Stargate to come back and fight another day. If I'm right, this is going to be a pretty cool episode. If I'm wrong, it still might be a pretty cool episode. Why don't you tell us about this one so we can dive in?
Well, this is episode 6, season 2, Thor's Chariot. Original air date, July 31st. 1998. Let's watch this episode. I don't have anything preamble to do for you here. Here we go. We're going to watch this episode if you guys are joining us for the very first time here at Stargate SG1 for the first time. Jeff and I are going to go watch this episode right now. We're going to do it. We're going to watch it all right now. If you're watching with us on YouTube, you're going to catch that reaction video. And if you're watching with us on Patreon, you're going to get the full unedited version of that reaction video. And if you want to find out more about that, just head over to patreon.com/Babylon5First or whatever link we have down in the show notes.
If you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, you're about to jump into the future. You're going to join us on the other end of the episode itself, where you're going to hear my for the first time reactions and anything about those sci-fi messages that Brent may or may not have found in Thor's Chariot. So Brent, let's kick it off. I was trying to think of a thing to say. Let's the chariot or something, but
Kick this pig.
Let's Ben-Hur this thing.
Right, there you go.
So using the technology we already possess, we can determine...
What the hell?
I want to know where in the script it actually stopped what she was supposed to say. And she just had to keep filling. See the computer?
Unauthorized. There was no organic residue, but they did pick up a faint nuclear signature. Traces of iridium.
So this stuff smacked on the iris, and then they opened it up to see what they had to wipe off of it.
You got it. I wanted it there because it would leave a very recognizable...
Did you catch what he said?
It's the stuff they left on Symmeria that they found, the iridium.
signature, and...
Same stuff.
Well, they put it in that box they gave him.
Weren't the
Hey, we're
locals
from Earth box.
supposed to give that box to Thor? Whatever he is. You all know I take great pride in my title as Mr. Positive. However, we did destroy their de-Goa'ulding thing. Might not they look unkindly on that?
We did that to save Teal'c. I'm sure the Asgards didn't anticipate they would trap a Jaffa who isn't an enemy. I'm sure they'd understand.
It was like, anybody?
He assumes much.
All right, I'll tell you what. We'll send a probe through at 1300 hours. If everything checks out, you have a go.
In media race.
In media race, baby. I think I might get this one.
Clearly, Symmeria is no longer safe from the Goa'uld.
Whoa, hand right.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Etten, that's what they call the Goa'uld.
The camera work on the robot mouth is very handheld, moving around.
Very hard. For being on a stationary, stable, robot thing, it sure, yikes. Hey, looks like I might have gotten a prediction on this thing. So far.
I mean, yeah. Thor's Chariot. You'd think it might be a sequel to the last episode.
No, we just randomly call things Thor's whatever.
Right.
Thor's Asgard. It's weird that Tilk called it the Asgard.
They're the Asgard.
The Asgard, but he said the Asgard.
Asgard.
I feel like that's a product that somebody should...
It's not our world. Is it really any of our concern?
The destruction of the hammer device to save my life may have caused this. If so, I am responsible.
General, I gave the order.
Jeff, watch
I
this.
fired the staff at the machine.
And I was there.
And I was there. And I
To
was
answer your
there.
question, sir, yes, I think we should be concerned.
No hostiles in sight, sir.
No friendlies either. So it used to be they came out of the gate and like right away there was stuff going on there.
Oh,
Oh no, they're
It's-
building a thing.
Means they've been there a while.
now that is no weekend hunting lodge.
Garwin!
Just like you sons of bitches.
Kendra said you'd come. She never doubted it. We thought it was Ragnarok.
It's the Norse Armageddon, the end of the world.
Thanks for the
There
explanation,
was
Daniel.
fire in the heavens.
Very smooth.
5 or 6 bursts in the sky in a straight line, but no sound.
The men who died here.
My husband and his brothers.
Oh, that's... Oh, and it's all. Here we go. Why do they not have Zach guns? Like, why are they... They got better weapons.
I'm not sure what the range on a Zat gun is.
Yeah, how many do they have? I'm not sure what that is.
It makes you wonder what is a Jaffa do, or what is it? How does a Goa'uld heal a Jaffa who's got shrapnel buried in her body?
Right?
As a former Goa'uld host, Kendra would probably be a help. Can you take us to her?
This way.
About that.
She was off doing another show, and so we had to kill her while we were gone.
Where's General So-and-so? He's on Deep Space Nine.
Family reside here.
You walked us all this way to tell us that? You could have just said it back there.
I had to lead you on a little bit, just, you know.
These items are of no use now to any of us. They belong with Kendra.
Oh, yeah. And she's going to be able to use it because she's got the Goa'uld thing.
You possess
That's
the
a-
power.
That's a game changer right there.
Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Why?
Well, Kendra retained the ability to use Goa'uld technology because she used to be a host to a Goa'uld. You must retain the ability because you were a host to Jolinar.
And don't point it at anyone.
Right.
Hey, just a little to the left.
Hey, watch where you're pointing that thing.
Yeah, maybe you should have said that before she shot.
You realize what this means? I mean, Sam could use one of these ribbon devices to help us fight the Goa'uld. She could use one of those healing devices we saw Kendra use.
Time for the resistance.
Olaf, these are friends. They came to us through the ring. With their help, we can still summon the power of Thor.
Don't you understand, woman? Thor has abandoned us because of their evil.
Crying out loud.
Ah, for
Don't you
crying out
understand that
loud.
This woman is right. We can help you if you let us.
How?
We fought the Goa'uld before and we've beaten them.
Okay.
Of course,
Yeah,
we
put it
have to
that
know
way.
what we're up against first.
The ancient tales tell of a hall in which Thor placed all of his powers to help us, to defend us.
Probably
That
helpful
may
to
signify some sort of Asgard
know where
weapon.
that is.
Weapons.
Think they kept weapons hidden here somewhere?
Where is this Hall of Thor's might?
Asgard weapons could be cool.
Yeah. Big old hammers and stuff. 3 of them.
It does
It's
make
like
you
a-
wonder how quickly they can build those stupid things.
Look like those guys that used to be with Ra back on Abydos.
They're Horus. They guard
Horus.
the family of Ra. These probably guard the Goa'uld Heru'ur.
And he'd be Ra's what? Cousin? Uncle?
What was his name?
He is the son of
Heru'ur,
and
son of
Hathor.
Ra, and Hathor.
Nice pedigree.
He's a very powerful system lord, much feared even among the Goa'uld. His
Hey, Jeff. What
Uh-huh.
was it you said we're going to meet a new system lord?
Yeah, that was today. That's for this one.
Oh.
I thought we were going to get the door open with need, but here we are.
He eliminates all who dare tread in his shadow.
Strangers came through the device you call the portal. Who are they?
Well, let's hear. There was Jack and Dan and Sam and
Answer.
Mr. T.
Answer.
Pity the fool who don't answer me.
No fear of death.
I got worse than death.
Teach you about pain.
No, shoot the dude with the gold first.
Right?
Does make you wonder if he's had any run-ins with her.
Yeah.
Before.
There's definitely a recognition.
Or something.
Place heavy guard at the shot my eye. Find them.
Jack, I think Thor's might may refer to a alien weapon or weapons that have been hidden away for centuries.
You could certainly use the firepower, sir.
Tilk brightened up
Erwin
there.
said she'd
Weapons.
take us there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as much as I hate to admit it, it sounds like our old buddy Thor is our best bet.
Hey, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
You got another one of these
This is
things?
It's a smaller one.
This is the Hall of Might?
Is it a Hall of Might for ants?
Maybe a hall?
I don't see anything that could be a weapon.
It is forbidden to touch the stone.
So I'm gonna touch the stone.
Yeah. Don't touch this. Oh, this? Boop.
Come on, Steve Irwin. Let's go.
Wow, what a ride.
Where are we?
I am Thor.
What?
You're brave to come before me.
Oh, just he had there's a hologram of him, right? Like was the communications.
However, only the worthy may witness Thor's might.
Do you not think me worthy? Why has he forsaken me? How can we prove our worth?
I'm gonna go touch it.
I'm gonna poke it with a stick.
It's gonna be Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, this is definitely.
Except they
a
can see
test.
the thing now.
I don't suppose this is the best time to bring up my problem with heights.
Yeah, it's really not. Just keep that to yourself. Get to climbing. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
Right. Yeah, I would try to walk across that and I would be falling down.
Yeah.
I do not have this kind of steady.
It's wider than a balance beam. Like it's not easy, but
I would still, if I got to put one foot in front of the other like
There's gonna
that
be-
and not just be able to walk normally, like
Come on.
dude, they let her fall. That's really gonna ramp these stakes up. That's gonna be... Oh, that's not cool. That's not cool.
Erwin. Just slide across it.
Okay. Now what we're gonna
Now
do
I'm
here,
closer
you're
to
gonna give
you,
me
and
a
all I
hand.
can do is the same thing I could do when I was way back
Help you
there.
Get you back on track.
Maybe Thor does want you dead. Well, Sam, go touch the thing. It's what Daniel would want you to do. Oh. What?
You guys okay?
I just want to point out that was
So,
not a solid floor the entire
what
time.
was that
Her
all about?
cloak and everything were draping down the thing.
You have shown true selflessness and bravery. Willingness to sacrifice oneself to save another is an honorable trait. I salute you. Now you must add wisdom to courage. Solve the riddle of the runes, and I will show you my true might.
I gotta tell you, Jeff, in general, I'm a sucker for these
How
kind of
did he
stories.
know what we did?
Yeah.
Solve this, do that.
Right. The Goonies, Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, stuff like that.
I love this kind of stuff.
Now
Yeah.
It's got to be really jarring. It's very loud, and you just end up somewhere weird.
It's not quite
Now we try to solve the riddle of the runes.
the smoothness of the Stargate.
Right. You got to read a bunch of runes. It's a good thing you got Daniel on your team.
Right?
Daniel, we don't have time for this.
Well, the faster
It's
we
the
solve
thing we
riddles,
have
the
to
faster
do.
we get whatever Thor's might is.
And it's not like you can turn
Yeah.
back.
Is Thor testing us?
I figure it's some sort of safeguard.
There is a hurry. Can you solve this?
Okay.
Kind of what I've been working on, Sam. Thanks for constantly talking. It's really helpful.
They aren't letters or words. Originally, runes were ideographic.
And it could be the Goa'uld detector they put up at the gate, or even the hammer device.
Dude, she needs to
this
lay
last
off a
one
little
represents
bit.
a
Just
wagon,
being a
but
Debbie
it was
Downer
also
here, shooting
called
everything down.
Thor's Chariot. Now that could be a spaceship.
And there's a name check on the episode.
One is a dice cup or fate. The other is a horse or movement.
Is there?
Their signal
They have
no
saxophones.
position. They will close into an interlaced pattern that will sweep it in corners.
We'll communicate using jazz.
Come on, Daniel.
No one will listen or pay attention. And if they do, they won't understand.
Well, if we don't come up with an answer soon, we're gonna have to find a way out of here.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that again. You're being
Daniel?
super helpful.
I have no idea what he wants us to do.
It is wise to admit you don't know a thing.
There is no shame. Perhaps in more time you will have come of age.
Excuse me. Could you just please just 1 second.
Daniel found the pause button.
Okay.
3.14159. It's pi.
Oh,
It's
there
pi.
you go.
Pi.
It's pi? That's what you wanted us to figure out? The inside of the circle is soft like sand.
Pi is the formula for finding the circumference of a circle by measuring the radius.
The radius.
Point of clarity, you're actually measuring the diameter because the formula for the circumference is 2 pi r, and 2r is the diameter, not the radius. Anyway, whatever. Let's go. Also, that is an Earth formula, not a...
I mean, math should cross cultures.
Math is, but the formula may be different. You should be pi d, pi times diameter.
I am the actual one, whom you know as Thor.
Sound like a weenie.
Jeff, what's it look like?
A stribe?
Olaf, get your people as far back
It's one of
from
the
cave
like
as possible.
the
Keep them
grays.
quiet.
Looks just like the descriptions of the Roswell Greys back home.
Right? Yeah.
I guess there's some truth to those stories after all.
You think the Asgards may have visited Earth?
I am communicating to you from my quarters aboard the Asgard ship Beliskner.
You mean you're the
Beliskner.
real Thor?
I go by Thorbald, but you can call me
This is
Thor.
great. We need your help. The Goa'uld are here.
Impossible. Symmeria is a safe world.
Yeah.
Funny story.
You sort of messed that up.
Daniel, careful. If you have any weapons that might be of help, we would really like to set things straight.
Weapons?
That what all those
You're not as
tests were
wise
to
and
protect.
enlightened as I thought you were.
Tests were designed to tell us when the Sumerians would be advanced enough to see us as we really are. We did not anticipate outside interference.
Well, you said we didn't mean to interfere.
It seems like they're bad to me. I don't know about you. Like,
yeah,
you're an advanced race. You should have thought of that, right?
Where's Gerwin?
Thor's not happy, is he?
He's not going to let her go back because she can tell them. And a series of unfortunate events right there.
We are outnumbered approximately 20 to 1.
Daniel.
Yeah, seems
you look
reasonable.
Suspiciously empty-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
There's nothing, Jack.
Nothing.
Well, we did meet the real Thor.
Did you now? Nice fella? All right, here we go.
Surrender now, and the slaves of this world will be allowed to live and serve Heru-Ur. Fight, and they will all die.
Colonel, we don't have
That
enough
sounds like a
weapons
better
to go
deal
around.
than being a slave.
They will all be killed on you.
Wow.
Jack is like
Yeah.
always the first to give up his weapon. You
Right?
know?
He's like, fine.
Still love the stank on Teal'c's face about like everything.
Everything.
So did the Klingons.
Yep. But given that math equation, I'd say today was not such a good day
maybe
for
not.
Pi. Oh, it's gonna be Thor. Here comes Thor's chariot. His big old spaceship.
Thor's chariot.
Yep.
An Asgard mothership.
And
I ain't gonna lie,
Asgard.
it looks awesome.
Harurururur is like, I'm out of here. Ow. Blowed up my palace, that's fine.
But I'd still like to meet the old guy.
He said that, like us, you're still much too young.
Kind of a theme.
For
Like
us,
from
there
the
is still
Nox,
much to
right?
rebuild.
Uh-huh.
Thor has promised to leave an Asgard teacher behind to help us.
Then Samaria will be a safe world again.
I'm to tell you that Thor's new hammer will make an exception for the one called Teal'c. You are welcome here anytime.
This thing is huge.
All right, Jeff, you've just watched this episode for the first time. Thor's Chariot. What about it? Is it like it? First of all, I love this episode. I think it's a great episode. I love watching. I skip to this episode. This is episode when I just want an episode to watch sometimes. This is the episode I put on. Is it as good as I think it is?
No.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
But it's really good. This is a really good episode. I noticed that this was written by Catherine Powers. She's the Emancipation writer, right?
And she also wrote Thor's Hammer and a couple of other like really good ones. But yes, she also gave us Emancipation.
She's always gonna be the Emancipation one for me. But the fact that she wrote this and Thor's Hammer makes a lot of sense. So the episode is great. I loved this episode. This was really good episode. I love it. Just makes sense. You know, like from the title, I was able to guess a good chunk of what this was. It went better and deeper because it's a episode of TV, you know, it's telling a big story. Stuff in here I never would have guessed, right? Thor is one of the Greys that, like, I'm going to be 13 here for a minute. So they call them Asgards, but they probe people all the, like, what is it? You can't be both. All right. I'll be older now. My biggest beef with Thor's Hammer was that it was like a 21-minute long episode in 44 minutes. Brent, the same thing happened with this one. This episode is so slow. I was bored through parts of this. Like the story was awesome.
Okay, all right. Let me dial it in. Okay. The biggest thing about this entire episode is the reveal of what the Asgard truly are.
Yeah, which is
that they are the Roswell. How did that hit you? Because your reaction was this. Oh. So how did that really hit you? Because to me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's because they're not this big, strong Viking. They're these little twerpy gray dudes that could barely like lift a shovel if they had to. And they had this big, cool ship that's just going to take out the Goa'uld. Like, oh my gosh. And the puzzles to get there. And I
was a lot more impressed with the ship. I enjoyed the puzzles to get there as well. It was very much an Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade kind of a thing, but it was well done. It was cool. Like you said, you love shows like that. I enjoy those a lot too. The first thing that you and I did in person together was an escape room, and that's what that was. They came in and they had to do an escape room, but we get to the point of the reveal. And at this point, like, I just have to tell you where my mind is. My mind is like, how is this episode not done yet? We've been here, and I look up, and I'm like, how are we only like 30 minutes into this whole recording? I feel like I've been here for 2 days. And then the hologram breaks, and then there's this little gray, and I'm like, oh, what's going to happen here? I didn't put together immediately that it was Thor. I'm just like, what's kind of happening? And then it started talking, and it was all like this. And I am, and I'm like, oh yeah. I was kind of underwhelmed by the whole thing. Then as the story unfolded and we got more, it was just like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But I did, even though I make some 13-year-old joke about anal probes or whatever, it's still like, you're those aliens? Like, really? Like, it's a neat twist, but they're not necessarily in our conspiracy theory world, in our stories, our urban legends here. They're not like cool aliens. Like it's not like, hey, you got abducted by the Greys from cool. How that must have been awesome. It's like, oh my gosh, that had to be horrible, and you're probably in a lot of therapy now. So I didn't even take a lot of notes on this. So
I didn't either. Hey, spoiler alert, I don't have any messages for you. I just don't. I don't. It's a zero chevron deal to me. Probably could pull one about Jack working with someone so and someone so, but this was episode. Jeff, I'll tell you one of the things I love about Stargate as a whole. I love whenever anyone does this. It's why I think I was so hung up on a late delivery from Avalon delivering to us the actual historical version of King Arthur and telling us what that is and who that was. Not the guy from Monty Python. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real guy that he would have been based on, possibly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I love when fiction, science fiction, fan, whatever, when you take established, existing historical Earth religions, myths, and you rewrite them and redefine what they are to become something new. So the idea that the Roswell Greys are really the Asgard and it's Thor, and it's this race out here, which we still don't know. I'm trying to be careful of what I say about them because you don't know much about them just yet. But this just big badass race out there. This is actually who they are, and you're inserting that in, because remember, that's what Stargate does. Like all of these Goa'uld, they're taking the names of Earth gods and goddesses and posing as them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the historical myth stories really are the Goa'uld who are doing this stuff. And what does that look like? I love when stories kind of do this. So yeah, I don't know.
It's cool. The Goa'uld makes sense to me, right? Because especially with the Egyptian gods aren't known for being like benevolent or cool. Like they were vengeful, mean, powerful gods. And so when you have Harororor, who is the son of Ra and Hathor, to come down, immediately you're just like, oh, this dude's bad news. Not just because he's Goa'uld, but also because he's an Egyptian god of some kind. So like that, the Goa'uld thing totally holds water and checks out. This Roswell thing doesn't for me, just because like no one that I know who's been abducted, no account that I've read, I guess I'd say, of people that have been abducted is a good thing. And so these Greys come down, these Asgardians, whatever, come down, and they really are presenting as the analog to the Goa'uld. Like, hey, we're also super powerful, but we're good guys. Like we're cool. You can trust us. But your behavior on Earth, from what we know in urban legend, doesn't stack up to that. But also on top of it, our education in all things Babylon 5, where we're at now, also shows that those big, over powerful beings aren't good or necessarily even bad either. You know, it's like, so I think I just kind of looked at that whole thing in terms of like, I think they're going for this shock factor of like, oh my gosh, it's the Greys. It just, to me right now at this moment, it's interesting, but I don't think it worked.
Well, I repeat what I said earlier. Boo!
Fair. Boo! But here's what I loved. I really enjoyed in this episode. I am really digging this Jolinar and Sam stuff, and how they're weaving in Tok'ra, you know, stuff about the Tok'ra throughout. But specifically here, she gets the little hand shooter thing, and she's able to do stuff. She's got the hand Healy thing, and is trying to figure that out. But like, I am really excited to see where this story goes, and I like how they're just kind of giving us little pieces, because that feels organic. You know, it's not like she's going to wake up and just be like, I have Jolinar inside me. I am Jolinar and Sam. I'm Sam Jolinar. Stop calling me Carter. I'm Dr. Jolinar now, or whatever. No, it's like, oh, I can do this? Huh. That's weird. Really like that. I liked the puzzles and the things like that were going on. I dug that, man, that Asgard ship. Holy crud. That thing was hardcore. And then we have the first time we've heard about this, but there's a Seeker project underway, and they've highlighted a planet that's in the path from where they believe the Goa'uld are coming from to Earth. So basically that's like an early warning or early detection system they're trying to set up. So cool. It's a little seed that's planted. But the part of this that like it was frustrating, but I enjoyed watching, was they're doing these puzzles, and Daniel is all in it. You know, he's what about this and what about this? And the whole time Sam's over here being like, yeah, that's dumb. Oh, that's not going to work. Hey, yeah, can you hurry it up? We don't have all day, dude. Like, she's just being literally the worst partner possible. And it was kind of fun. Not so fun for Daniel, but it's just like, okay, yeah, that's good stuff. So yeah, so my final thought on this is one of the pieces we were sent home with was Asgard, our friend to all, protector of all. I don't buy it. I think there's a lot more to the story, and they're trying to set themselves up this way, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Now, I just bagged on this for a little while. I want to be really clear. I enjoyed this episode. I think it was a really good episode. It didn't hit as hard as I think you were hoping it would. And again, like, this episode is probably, I'll say, 6 minutes too long. So you said,
38 minutes spread out over 42 is a lot different than, or 44 is a lot different than 21 minutes spread out over 44.
Yeah, it was better. It had better pacing than Thor's hammer for sure, but still, it was just.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain of any kind of messages and stuff that I would have gotten, and honestly, I just didn't. I was just in the episode. And I'm failing to come up with anything. So I want to remind, I'm going to give this one 0 chevrons, but I always reserve the right to come back and revisit it at a later date.
Of course.
And chevrons does not equate to quality of episode. That is not what chevrons are measuring. Jeff, you get to talk to us about the quality of episode. You're going to put this one into our top. Well, you're going to put it into our top 6. Something's got to fall out of the top 5 right now. Our current top 5 as it sits, Serpent's Grasp and Serpent's Lair as number 1. That's the season cliffhanger from 1 into 2. And then you got In the Line of Duty, Need, The Gamekeeper, and number 5 currently is Prisoners. Jeff, where do you place Thor's Hammer?
So it is a little bit. It's going to be in the top 5. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Pretty eager, honestly, to put Prisoners outside of the top 5. I'm going to look at my notes here really quick on 1. I need to call in the judges, because the top 2, to point you a little there again a little bit, the top 2 are good episodes.
I got to tell you, just from a standpoint of being in my seat, I'm always trepidatious about overhyping an episode, and I never want to overhype an episode. And I hope I really didn't do it. Like, I just want to let you experience the episode the way that you experience the episode. So
with that, I think that I did have higher expectations just because you were very eager. Like, you texted and you're like, hey, can you record? I'm like, dude, it's almost 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock for you. You're like, yeah, I want to do this one. And so I kind of came in with this is one Brent likes. So
yeah.
So it didn't hype it up, but it definitely, there was an angle, to what I was looking at. But with that, I just looked at my notes for In the Line of Duty, which is a great episode. Oh man, it's a good episode. And it was, and really it's a launch point for what is becoming kind of my favorite through line of this season so far. Like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. Brent, I have good news for you. Our new number 2.
Really? Over In the Line of Duty?
Yeah. Ooh, I think so, because like I loved In the Line of Duty because it brought the concept, the idea, Joel and R and all this stuff in it. It had this really great interplay between like, I don't trust you and I will never trust you, but also like you gave your life for a member of our team, like really good, deep stuff. But I think that Thor's Chariot took that and then is starting to plug it in a real meaningful way to the bigger story. And then we got, I'm not blown away with the introduction of the Asgard, but also we got introduced to the Asgard.
Yeah.
And I think in the scope of Stargate, this is just a total unbased speculation on my part, but between the Joel and R stuff and the Asgard stuff, Asgard is going to have a bigger impact on Stargate as a whole for us. My guess.
Well, we'll see. But for now, Jeff, that is going to put a bow on Thor's Chariot.
It can fly away.
There you go. That was a cool looking ship, wasn't it? It was slick. Man, it just came in. It was just like, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Out, 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 out. No sweat. Put in a new hammer. Teal'c's got an exclusion. Like,
just boom. And Har is like, I'm out of here. Right. You guys can go. I don't care about my palaces or my Jaffa. I'm out.
Nope, he sure doesn't. He needs to go hang out in the sarcophagus for a little bit.
Yeah.
Jeff, our next episode is titled, good luck with this one, Message in a Bottle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Go for it. Give it a guess.
Okay, Message in a Bottle. Not a Star Trek episode.
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna go to a planet. Of course, they're gonna find a thing, a box, a container, a something like an artifact. They're gonna find like this artifact of some kind. Yep. Daniel's gonna be all about it. Sam's gonna be interested too. Like, I want to dive into this thing. They're gonna take it back. I started going down like storyline we already had. They're gonna bring it back as a radiation of some kind, a weird energy signal that it's not hurting any people, but it's destroying like the stuff around it. Like, it's destructive, physically destructive for things. And so it's a lot of trying to figure stuff out. Is it a threat? Sam is going to have a theory that she's going to dive into, that it's actually something trying to communicate a message, but like it doesn't have language. And so it's using this other thing. And so it's going to be about cracking. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be a version of, I'm going to call it of a Star Trek episode, The Fight. from Voyager. There's going to be an alien race or species trying to communicate that doesn't communicate in a way that we as humans understand at all. And Sam's going to have to crack the code to figure out what the message in the bottle is. And before we fully close out on Thor's Chariot, we did get a For Crying Out Loud.
We did, bringing our total up to 12 on the series so far. Or 13. I don't know, one of those two. I just looked at it a second ago. I don't remember. All right. Well, with that, guys, it is going to do it for us here on Stargate SG1 for the first time. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with Jeff. If you would like to send Jeff any feedback on his response to this, you can do that to Jeff at babylon5first.com.
I love that. It's not a real email address, by the way.
He will personally respond to every single one of those emails.
As they bounce right back to you.
Don't forget, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on YouTube, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're on Patreon, thank you so much for your support of the show. And please, wherever you are, you know somebody who likes Stargate, or perhaps you know somebody who needs to get into Stargate, share this episode with them. So until next time, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, this isn't Brent. This isn't right at all. This whole time through everything we've done together, I thought, that's so wrong, but I thought you were finally mature enough to see my true form.
I don't know what you're talking about, but for crying out loud, hit that button.